Did you know one winger deal made every big fee after it looked normal? And the gap still hasn't really closed? Chelsea paid €35 million to take Madueke from PSV. For a player who was still 20, that's a serious wide player fee, and it barely cracks this list, which tells you where the market went. Liverpool got Diaz for €49 million in the middle of the season. That felt huge at the time, and now it sits down near the bottom here, which is a nice little reminder of how fast this market inflated. Sané cost Manchester City €52 million before the really silly money era kicked in. He was 20, electric, and this was one of those fees that looked bold for 5 minutes, then ended up looking cheap. Bayern paid €53 million for Olise after his breakout at Palace. Smooth left foot, right wing, and the fee says elite upside more than finished product, which is usually where modern winger spending gets fun. Barcelona paid €58 million for Rafinha after just one Premier League season at Leeds, and yes, his profile page lists him as a left winger, even though plenty of fans think of him living on the right. Chelsea went to €60 million for Pedro Neto. That's a big number for a winger with real injury history, which kind of sums up the premium on 1v1 players who can actually beat people. Figo's €60 million move was a world record back in 2000. Same number as Neto here. Two totally different football economies, which is why old record fees always look a bit surreal on lists like this. Pulisic cost Chelsea €64 million and was still only 20. The funny part is that this was already massive money for an American player, but on the winger curve, it now feels almost quaint. Mudryk's fee was €70 million. For a winger with a relatively short top-level sample, that's the kind of deal that screams raw speed, projection, and a club deciding it cannot lose the race. PSG paid €80 million for Kvaratskhelia in 2025. That's a proper modern winger fee, but it's also a good marker for the market, because even €80 million still doesn't get you close to the very top. United paid €85 million for Sancho after those ridiculous Dortmund production numbers. It's one of the clearest examples of how much clubs will spend when a young winger already looks like a final third cheat code. Antony hit €95 million, which is still a staggering right-wing fee. It's also the point on the list where the bars start looking a lot less normal and a lot more panic buy with premium packaging. Bale was the first winger on this list to smash the €100 million line. In 2013, that looked absurd, and honestly it still does, but then the market decided absurd was only a warm-up act. Manchester City paid €117.5 million for Grealish, which set a new English record at the time. For a homegrown winger in the Premier League, the tax was very real, and yeah, it was as much as it sounds. Hazard went for €120.8 million after carrying Chelsea for years. It was peak superstar pricing, and in pure talent terms it made perfect sense, even if the move itself ended up being football's cruel little joke. This entry is excluded under a strict main position only rule because the same source now lists Dembele's main position differently. I'm leaving this note here only because his fee is part of the wider winger fee story, but it should not be used as a ranked card. Same issue here. Neymar's €222 million move is the deal that warped the whole market. but a strict main position only filter on the same source no longer tags him as a winger, so he doesn't cleanly qualify for the final ranked list.